Yo, what's up, guys? We're back on Larry's Garage Sale. It's been a while since I've uploaded on here. I've been meaning. I actually had a lot of conversation topics I wanted to tackle, but it's been a hot minute. If you're new to this, basically we're just gonna be talking about some things going on in my life. This is basically just me, quote unquote, journaling or just like talking about things going on in my life, whatever. Important topics that I think are interesting or relevant. And I'm just gonna be shiny hunting. So you can see here, I got a little sandwich on. We're just gonna be. I want to get a three segment shiny to Dunsparce. That's what I'm gonna go for. It's probably gonna take a while, but regardless, it's what we're going for. So the best place to do that is actually in area zero. So we're just gonna go in here. But yeah, no. The topic today that I want to talk about is I want to talk about why crying is good for you. Now, this is something that I'm sure you've heard of before, but like it's a very like common stigma in like society, especially like in Western society. I'm in America, obviously. This is my only point of reference. I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but in America where I live, it's a very common stigma that like, oh yeah, crying is like a sign of weakness, and that like crying is like not good, and that's like a very common stigma, right? um and obviously that's like really unhealthy for a lot of reasons because like using this when people say, oh yeah, crying is a sign of weakness, that encourages people to like think, oh, crying is like bad, I should not do that. But really, crying is actually a very normal thing and healthy thing for you to do. There's a reason that it's like a built-in response as a human being to things happening, because crying is basically a coping mechanism if you think about it. I mean, what crying is it's a way for you to like kind of express your emotions, and when things get too much, it's kind of a way for you to like get it out of your system, you know what I mean? And like it's actually like really good for you. Like if you're feeling crappy, crying, like I'm sure people who know who have cried before, which is most people. I'm sure there are some who have never cried or don't cry much. But after you cry, you usually feel better afterwards, and there's like the reason for that. It's because like crying is like a good thing, and it's like actually very helpful. And I feel like a lot of people like don't realize that because they're like, oh yeah, crying. I don't want to be weak, so I don't want to cry. And it's like if anything, in my opinion, crying in my opinion, is more of a sign of strength because it shows that you're willing to be vulnerable, which is a really difficult thing to do. Also, that was really quick. Jesus. I think that's the first shiny we found on this series. I mean, I am using a sandwich, so it's like comically easy to get shinies with sandwiches. Um, Also, look at my shiny Scizor. All right, I took a while to get this. I think it looks pretty cool, right? Right. Anyways, we're just gonna catch a bunch of shiny Dunsparce and evolve them at the end, and see if we can get a three segmented to Dunsparce, I guess. But yeah, no. Anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, I do think like. Oh wait, no, wait, no, I forgot double edge. No, no, no. Oh, it's alive. Hallelujah. Oh my god. I did not know it had double edge. Jesus, dude. We're just gonna ultra ball it. I don't want this thing to die. Oh my god. Jesus, dude. That was a close one. Yeah, we need to go find a place to put these guys. Okay. Yeah, but we'll just load these all in we'll load these all in box one for now and deal with them. Well, we'll just call it the Dunsparce. Okay, so we're just gonna call this the Dunsparce Hunt. So I probably should have done this before I was recording, but whatever. You guys get to see it anyways. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll get a bunch and then we'll evolve them in here when we're done. That was 5 minutes of the same. Is there another one? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, dude! This game is not real. This game is not real, dude. Shinies like actually grow on trees in this game. This is not a real video game, dude. What the hell? I think they would look best in heal balls, so we'll throw heal balls. Yeah, but anyways, apparently shinies just don't matter, so we're just gonna ignore them anymore. But yeah, no, the crying is actually a really healthy thing for you to do. It's actually very good for you, and like I feel like society kind of makes you think that cry, especially like obviously, as a guy. Like there's a lot of stigmas being a dude. Like, oh yeah, you can't show any signs of weakness because you're a man, and men's have to be manly and can't show emotions, yada yada, whatever, right? Because you have your standard gender role stuff, right? And especially like as a guy, you're kind of taught subconsciously that you're supposed to like not feel. You're like well, not necessarily not feel things, but you're supposed to be strong and like not let anything get to you and not show it any signs of weakness ever. And I just think that's a really unhealthy way to think of things because I think that's bad and I'm not a fan of it. Do any of these guys have marks? No. Okay. I'd like to get one with dude a three segmented shiny Dunsparce. The Dunsparce with a mark would be hype as hell. Yeah, but no. If you guys don't know, when you evolve Dunsparce into Dunsparce, it has a 1% chance of having three segments. So I'm just gonna evolve a bunch of shiny Dunsparce until I get it. Could take a while. I mean statistically should take up like dozens and dozens of them before I get it. But apparently if I keep finding these guys this quickly, I mean it's been freaking 7 minutes, dude. Jesus. Yeah. But I think it's sad that crying is seen as a bad thing because I feel like a lot of people stop themselves from crying because they think it's bad, but it's like no, it's not bad, man. Crying is really good for you. Like don't do that to yourself. It's not fair to do that to yourself because so what you're doing by forcing yourself to not cry or not allowing yourself to feel the need to cry is you're inadvertently like suppressing your emotions. And the problem with that is I'm sure many of you have heard like, oh, bottling up your emotions is a bad thing, and that there's a reason. Because what happens is when you don't have any way to get your emotions out, when you just bottle them up, what happens is basically you don't deal with it. Because when you have emotions that are problematic, you need to do something with them. You need to find a way to deal with it, to cope with it. You need to process it. But when you don't allow yourself to process it, what happens is it just sits there and it just boils up, and it gets worse and worse the longer you don't process it. And what happens is it just gets worse, and eventually it'll get to the point where you'll just break down because you haven't. It'll just slowly get worse and worse until you just can't hide it anymore. And that is the worst way to deal with it. And I'm sure many people have done that before, and many people have experienced that, especially like, people that have depression obviously understand, they're diagnosed with depression, understand the idea of like suppressing your emotions. That's a very common thing to do if you have depression, is you'll suppress your emotions and kind of just not allow yourself to feel anything. And not feeling anything is probably one of the most dangerous things you can do. This is something I actually did for a long time. So I don't know if I've said this before, but whatever. But I'm diagnosed with depression. Not that crazy. A lot of people are, right? But the reason I wanted to bring that up, I'm not trying to be like, oh, woe is me, I have depression, whatever. But yeah. So the thing is, for a long time, I like had it and I like didn't know, because in my head, I'm like, oh, I can't be depressed. Being depressed just means you're sad all the time and you just feel crappy. But I didn't feel sad all the time. I just felt nothing all the time. All I felt like, I didn't feel strongly towards anything. I just would wake up and nothing that I did made me feel anything. Like I wouldn't feel good, I wouldn't feel bad, I would just feel nothing. And I eventually, I would tell this to my therapist and stuff, and eventually, like, which is a new I haven't had a therapist for like a super long time, by the way. This is a relatively new development, but for a long time this would just happen. And eventually one day I had a friend who also has depression, by the way, who kind of like saw me like this, and they're like, dude, you were like not okay. And I'm like, what do you mean? I'm doing fine. They're like, no, you're not. And then I like thought about it. I'm like, oh wait, I'm like not fine. My friend's like, dude, you were like showing a lot of signs of depression. You should get that checked out. And I'm like, okay, fine, I guess. And then I did. And then I went to a doctor, and they're like, oh yeah, you were like very depressed. And I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. So now I have like some drugs for it. But obviously drugs don't fix everything. And at the end of the day, when it comes to mental things, the only way to solve it, the only person who can solve a mental problem is yourself, because the battle is inside your own head and only you can fix it. You know what I mean? So you're the only one that can fix it. So it's really just it really is just a battle with yourself. And I've been doing a lot better than I have been. I've been allowing myself to actually feel things, which has been really healthy for me. And I've actually like cried more than I ever have in my life, and it's like actually been a good thing. I know like that sounds bad, like oh you've been crying a lot, that's bad, but no, it's actually a good thing because before I used to just not cry, and I wouldn't even allow myself to feel anything, which was just really awful. But now I'm like actually properly allowing myself to feel things, and that's like really good. It's been like super helpful, and I'm like really glad that I figured that out. And I just wanted to talk about it to see because I really don't think there's gonna be many people that watch these. Realistically, I'm just making these for myself. Like this is just a way for me to journal my thoughts and opinions in the world and just have them recorded somewhere. 'Cause I've tried doing writing journals like on paper. I'm just not a big fan of like writing for journals. I like writing, but journals are just not really my thing. But like doing an online journal like this where I can just kind of talk is a little better for me. Like I just because obviously I'm a YouTuber and stuff. This is something I already like doing, and it just feels comfortable for me. And also I get to shiny hunt at the same time, which is keeps my brain stimulated too. So that's nice. But like yeah, no, it's just I kind of lost my train of thought because I was rambling. Okay, I ramble a lot. If you haven't figured that out already in these freaking how long will we know? Like 12 minutes already. Um, but yeah, no, it's been like super helpful to be able to like allow myself to feel things. And I just think if anyone is watching this that thinks that has depression or has had not even depression, just anyone ever, literally anyone can struggle with suppressing their emotions. Like you don't have to have I don't want to make it seem like you have to have depression to struggle with this. Anyone can struggle with this, right? Having depression just means you struggle with it a lot. But anyone can struggle with these things, and I don't want people to like think it's not that big of a deal because it's a very big of a deal. You know what I mean? If you don't allow yourself to feel things, you're just gonna not feel anything, and that is really dangerous. Because then you're gonna lose purpose and self worth and everything that you need to live like a fulfilling life, and you don't want to lose that. You know what I mean? I like how I say this as I'm just running past it, Dunsparce's. It really contrasts like the serious conversation I'm having with the stupid Pokemon shiny hunting that I'm doing in the background, but whatever. But I can't believe we found two Dunsparce in like the first freaking 5 minutes, dude. That was crazy. That was actually insane. Um, but like, yeah, it's one of those things where I think a lot of people don't realize how important crying is, and I think the importance of crying like can't be understated. Like it's very valuable and very helpful, and I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily recognize that, and I think it's sad because I think crying is a really valuable thing, and people don't appreciate it as much as they should, and I not even that they don't appreciate it, but people think they shouldn't cry and that crying is bad when really crying is a good thing, and you should if you I'm not saying you should force yourself to cry, but if you feel the need to cry, if you feel like you want to let it out, that's like a good thing. And along that same line of thinking, the way I think of it is no matter who you are, like what your position is, you should have one person, just at least one person that you can go to when you feel crappy and like talk about things. Because just being able to talk to people about your problems is like a great form of therapy. And it can be with a therapist, right? But not everyone can afford a therapist. Not everyone has access to a therapist. It doesn't have to be a therapist. A therapist is one option for that, right? And I'm not saying you only have to have one person, but my general rule is you should have at least one person. At least. And I know that's not easy. Some people don't have friends. Some people struggle at making connections with people. Believe me, I understand. It's not easy. But it's it's important because you just can't go through it all alone. It's just not realistic. I mean, humans are social creatures, right? Like we need other people to stay sane, like straight up. Doesn't matter how like antisocial you are or how awkward you are. You need people. You will go if you tried living a week on this planet with no people. If it was just you would go crazy. You just would. With no human interaction, you would literally go insane. Like it would happen because we need whether you like it or not, you need people to stay sane, and that's just a reality. It's important, and I don't think enough people recognize that. And I think it's I think it's really important that you have one person you can go to when you need to talk about stuff too. Like you don't need that person to solve your problems. Obviously, not everyone's going to be your therapist, right? But you don't need them to solve your problems. You just need them to listen. That's what's important. Being able to go to someone that you trust and like tell them things is a really healthy form of therapy because it just makes you feel better because you don't feel like you're keeping it inside. You feel like you're releasing all of this tension and all of these just awful feelings that you have, and it really does work, man. I mean, there's a reason that therapists exist, and that's like a job. It's like, what are therapists doing? Are they giving you advice? Yes, but that's not really what they're doing. What therapists are doing is they're getting you to talk about your problems. They're kind of coaxing it out of you. They're getting you to admit to your problems and say it out loud because that alone makes it better. Like straight up. Even if you don't solve the problem, even if you don't know how to solve it or where it originated, it's not always that easy. But just admitting that you have a problem and talking about it, that goes a long, long way. Goes a long way. And I mean, that's half the battle. You know what I mean? Just being able to admit it and then allow yourself to feel things, that's half the battle, man. And a lot of people don't even make it that far because they think that if they just try to ignore it, that it'll just go away, and it won't. It'll get worse. I promise. I know from experience. And I've made all of those. I don't want to act like I'm better than everyone else because I've made all of those same mistakes myself for a long time. Like I said, I was depressed for years, suppressing my emotions and not allowing myself to feel things for years and years and years. And it's only relatively recently in the past few months that I've like kind of had this like I don't know, kind of third eye opening experience almost where I just like realized like, oh my God, like I've been living like a shell of myself for years. And like that was like a huge moment for me just to realize that. Um and you know, it's it's one of those things where I don't know if anyone will see this video or any of them. It's not that important to me. Again, I'm not doing this for the views, obviously. I'm just doing this as a way to get my thoughts out. But the reason I want to put it on YouTube is that just if anyone happens to stumble into it that needs it, like I feel like if I could help someone out or get them to think about it more, then that's a win to me. For at least one person, that's a win to me. And I like talking about these things because I don't feel like they're talked about enough, and it's important. Like they're very like philosophical conversations in nature, but like they're important. They're very important. Like just understanding human nature is such an important thing. Also, there was a TM there. It's such an important thing, and like I feel like people don't do that enough. You know what I mean? And it's a really healthy thing to do. And I wish people did it more. Also, I'm just gonna record this episode till our sandwich runs out. I feel like that's a good length. 30 minutes seems good. What I'll do is I'll record this until our sandwich runs out, and then I'll go hatch evolve our Dunsparce to see if we get a Imagine if our first one was 3 segmented. That'd be wild. That'd be really funny. Don't worry, that doesn't end the series if I get a 3 segmented one. I'll just go find something else to shiny hunt. Um, we'll figure something else out. But yeah, no, I just really, really, really hope this can help somebody out there. I don't know if anyone's watching this. Maybe it's just me talking to myself. And either way, I'm okay with that because this is also for me. Because it feels like I said, it's like getting your thoughts out there is good and healthy. And also, I like to just have a collection of my thoughts out there in a recording so I can look back at it one day and be like, oh, this is my mindset at the time. This is what I'm thinking, and this is how I've grown over time. You know what I mean? And I think it's good because you shouldn't have the same opinion forever. You should change over time. And that's like a healthy and normal thing to do. That's like normal and good to change your opinions and thought process over time. Like you you want to grow in that way. You don't want to just stay the same forever. You want to have a different way of thinking and evolve how you think about the world over time. That's like good. And I think it's good to challenge yourself in that way and allow yourself to think in different ways. And I think one thing people don't do enough is listening to people who disagree with you, or like talking to people who disagree with you, is really important. And people are like afraid to do it because people like don't want to, they want to avoid conflict. And I it just sucks because I wish people could just have like conversations without it getting heated. Like we could disagree with each other and be okay with that. You know what I mean? I think that would be nice, and that's very uncommon, I think. And it would be nice if we could just do that. That would be a nice thing, I think. But it's very I think the problem is that when you disagree with somebody, you just kind of instinctively get defensive because you're like, "No, I'm right, you're wrong." Rah. And it's like, "No." It's not how it works. But yeah. Yeah, I'm getting kind of off track here. Because it's talking about crying for real. But yeah, no, I guess it was kind of talking about crying and depression and like my experiences with depression. Because like, yeah, I'm I like talking about my experiences because I think it's, you know, talking about your experiences is really important to other people. Like it's good. It's a in my opinion, like it's important to tell people about your experiences so that way if you make a mistake, you can help others not make the same mistake. Because I've made plenty of mistakes in my life so far. I mean, I'm not like a 50-year-old man. I'm not like, oh, I've seen everything. Like, no, I'm 18. You know, I haven't seen everything. But I've seen a lot in 18 years and experienced a lot, and it's taught me a lot of things, you know, and I think it's important to allow yourself to change your opinion over time because the way I think now is not going to be the way I think in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, you know. It's just going to change and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Um that's just how it works. That's just how, you know, you aren't the same person that you were 5 years ago and you won't be the same person 5 years from now. That's just how it works. And that's not a bad thing. You don't want to be the same person. You want to evolve. That's a good thing. Also, I think it's funny that we found two shiny Dunsparce in like the first 5 minutes and then have seen nothing since. I think that's really funny. Hey man, I'll take it. Two shiny Dunsparce in 30 minutes is pretty good to me, man. I'm not gonna lie. You won't hear me complaining. That's like the most Pokemon shiny hunt thing to ever happen, man. You know, that's just how RNG is sometimes. Sometimes you get the good end of the stick and sometimes you don't. Also, can I just say this music is banging, dude. The Area Zero music is so cool. I just love Area Zero. This game may be jank as hell, and I think we can all admit that, but Area Zero is sick. And if you disagree, you're wrong. I'm kidding. No. Um, but yeah, is there anything else I have to talk about? I mean, I only have a few minutes left. Actually, I got 7 minutes left. I got time. And what else could we talk about in 7 minutes? I mean, talked about crying, depression, my experience with depression. I mean, I could talk about. I know. I don't want to talk about too much because privacy, but I know my a lot of the people that I know and a lot of the friends I know have had depression or do have depression. I feel like depression is like pretty common. I mean, I don't know exactly how common it is. I'm sure there's a ton of people who have it and are not diagnosed with it, but it's like very common and it's like interesting. And I wonder why that is. Because I always thought the whole idea of depression is counterintuitive. Like your body is like slowing you down. Because like obviously when you're depressed, you're like if you know, if you've never had depression basically, think of it like this. It doesn't mean you're sad all the time. That's not what it means. Basically, think of it like everything feels like muted. Like you just don't feel anything. You don't feel sad, you don't feel happy, you feel like nothing, and you're just tired all of the time. Like you can sleep for 12 hours, you can wake up and just want to go back to bed, and all you want to do is sleep. And when you're not sleeping, you're tired, you're like kind of groggy. It's almost like it feels like you just woke out of a coma, but that's just all the time. And you just feel like you're like living underwater almost, and it's like a really bizarre feeling. It's very strange, and it's like it's a weird experience. And I think the thing about depression is there isn't really like a cure to it. Like once you have it, it's kind of always there. I mean, you can make it better, and like right now I have it pretty calmed down for the most part. Like it really only comes up every once in a while, and I have it controlled for the most part. I'm on drugs. I feel like mentally I'm doing better now. I'm like trying to take care of myself more, trying to like there's obviously better I could do. I could still should exercise more. But I'm trying to take care of myself better, and I think it's been working. I've been expressing my emotions more. I feel more alive than I used to. I feel more alert, more awake. And that's like nice. But it's still there and it's not going anywhere, and it kind of sucks because it just kind of pops up when you least want it to. But the reality is that if you can get it to the point where it only comes up sometimes instead of all the time, that's pretty damn good. That's where I'm at right now. And you know what? We're all going to have crappy days. We're all going to have times where things feel awful, and that's okay. As long as it isn't all the time. That's what you want to strive for, is to get it to the point where you can feel better most of the time, or at least sometimes, right? Because you're never going to be perfect, but if you can keep working on yourself to be better and better, that's all you can do. Just keep trying to be better. You can't be perfect. It's just not possible. You're always going to make mistakes. You're always going to mess up. You're never going to be perfect. It's not realistic. That's just not how it is, you know. Also, man, no other Dunsparce, man. It's been like 25 minutes, really. Wow, not gonna throw me a bone, Pokemon, really? Wow, it's messed up. You know what? They gave me two. They gave me two right at the start. I can't. Actually, that's the first of this. I mean, I think I've. This is the third one of these episodes I've recorded. I know I haven't recorded many. I'd like to record more. I do like making these. These are really fun. Um, and yeah, I think that's like about all I have to talk about. I mean, I feel like I should use the last 3 minutes of these sandwich and then shiny hunt, and then I mean hatch the, not hatch. I can't even speak, dude. And then evolve the Dunsparce. Um, I don't think we're gonna get a three segmented again. It's a 1% chance, man. It's probably gonna take like dozens of these before I even get close. But hey, you never know. Random chance is weird like that. Sometimes you roll lucky. But yeah, no, I hope if anyone, I don't know if anyone watched this, but if anyone did, um, I hope you got some value out of it. That's what I'm trying to, that's why I'm posting these online. I'm hoping somebody can run into these, perhaps get some value out of it. And, if you did enjoy, like if you're someone watching this and it's not just me talking to myself, if you have like any questions for me or like conversation topics you want me to talk about in future videos, like you can like drop a comment, and like there's a good chance if you leave a comment saying, "Hey, can you talk about this?" Like there's a good chance I'll talk about it. There's obviously some things I won't want to talk about, but like if you want me to talk about something, or if there's something that like you think would be an interesting topic for me to talk about, like let me know, man. I'm open to suggestions, and like this is, I'm always open for community feedback. Not, I don't think there is much of a community right now, but if anyone runs into it, let me know. Um, I'm always down for feedback, and or if you just want to comment on anything I said, or you have any interesting thoughts to add, I'll read all of them. I have nothing better to do. I don't go outside. But yeah, no. I actually, some of the other ones got a few comments on them, and I did read those, and some people actually found some value out of them, and I appreciated that a lot actually. Um, I was surprised. I didn't think anybody, YouTube would recommend these to anyone, because this is very not YouTube algorithm friendly. It's unedited, long form content of unedited, non like viewer engagement maximized content. Like it's pretty like not YouTube friendly in 2025, but maybe there'll be somebody out there who likes it. Who knows? I mean, it's, you never know with YouTube, but I do hope somebody finds some value out of this. And yeah, any feedback, questions, comments, anything. I always appreciate the feedback. So just, yeah, if you have any ideas for me and stuff, I mean, I can, I got plenty of my own ideas, so you don't have to comment. I mean, I'll keep making these regardless. I mean, remember, at the end of the day, I like making these regardless of if people see them or not. I mean, obviously, it's nice if people see them, but that's not mandatory at all. So I'll keep coming up with stuff. I got plenty of topics I want to talk about. Like I know I had a few ideas to talk about. Like I know at some point I wanted to talk about oh, what was I going to talk about? Oh, I already did one about why are people afraid of change. That was a good one. I might do like a second part to that, because I do think it's an interesting topic. I also like talking about, like I could do one that's like what's the meaning of life. That's one I thought about. It's an interesting question that a lot of people have thought about, and I have a lot to say about that. Could also talk about like relationships and my experiences with them, and my advice for them, because I actually have had some experience. I know it's surprising. I'm a little goblin and that is on the internet, but I do actually have some experience with it and some advice to give to people out there who need it. So I could totally talk about that or literally anything else, man. I'm an open book. I like talking about stuff. Also, looks like our sandwich is out. Unfortunate. Yep. Okay. Well, looks like no shiny no shiny. Oh, it's still spawning Dunsparce. That's kind of funny, even though the sandwich ended. Looks like no shiny Dunsparce for me. Well, that's unfortunate. Okay, well, what we're gonna do is we'll save our game since we did get some shinies, and we're gonna go evolve them up. Let's go throw them in the box. We got both the Dunsparces. We got a male and a male. They're both males. Okay, we're just gonna go evolve them. So I think how this works is you gotta teach them Hyper Drill, and once they know Hyper Drill, you have to evolve them. Or you have to level them up while they know Hyper Drill. So we're gonna go try this. And see, none of these have marks as far as I know, so yeah, nothing super crazy there. Guess we'll use my medium candies since they're kind of useless for anything else. All right, guys. I don't know why it's not putting it on the ground, but whatever. Guys, are we gonna get the 3 segmented one? Probably not. Nope. That's a 2 segmented. Maybe one day we'll get it. All right, we got one more to try. Okay, let's use all my small candies. Yeah, they don't even get them close to evolving. Here, we'll just use a large candy. Oh my god, guys, are we gonna get the 3 segmented the Dunsparce? Are we gonna get it, guys? Probably not. I don't know. Should I trash these ones, the 2 segmented ones? Like, I don't want to fill my box with them, but I could also like. Oh wait, did I accidentally cancel it? Oops. 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 But I could also like wonder trade them away or something fun, or I could give them to viewers if people want them. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I don't have that many viewers, so I don't really know. Maybe I could wonder trade them away once I get the 3 segmented one. I can wonder trade away the 2 segmented ones. That would be fun, I think. But unfortunately, they are both 2 segmented ones, so unfortunate. It's okay. We'll keep hunting for it in the next videos. I do want to make more videos. I would like to. Also, why can you not rotate them? That's like lame. The model, like really? Yeah, but no. 2 segmented ones. Let me like double check because like I can't see the model very well. Yeah, that's 2 segmented, and that's 2 segmented. All right. So let's just throw them in the box. But yeah, no, that's it for this video, guys. I mean, I hope someone saw this and got something out of it. I really do. I enjoy making them. So if you got any more conversation topics or just anything to comment, any experiences you've had similar to me or that you can relate with, let me know in the comments. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it for this one. You guys take care, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.